Good morning, class. Now, I know this isn't any of the lyrical deck profiles I've been promising. Apologies that editing those does take some time, more of the time that I've got when I'm working. So I'm actually back with a nice little CFA game, showing off some of the new Set 6 stuff. Because I don't have to edit these. I can literally just whack some music on, export it and upload it. That simple. So we are here this time with Vermillion the Blood. So what I'm going to quickly do first, before going into the game I have got pre-recorded, I'm just going to quickly go into this, and you can see my deck down the bottom. Obviously we've got our obvious ride line of Red River Dragoon for finding the order. We've got Thunderstorm Dragoon for checking top 7, choosing a card in Narukami or the Eternal Thunderbolt, adding it to our hand, which is good. And our ride line now is the new card, Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion the Blood. So, 3 skills. First one being, during your turn, if you've got Vermillion in your soul, it gains 5k. But then, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets a crit, and your front or rear guards gain power plus 5000. So, really, really good card to start with. But we then have our second and third skills, which are very similar to the original Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion. Second one being the Soul Blast one. Until the end of time, when you would attack, you choose 2 rear guard circles and attack the units on those circles. And the usual third skill of end of the battle, this unit attacked if you played normal order. The opponent's damage is 3 or 4 or less cards. Discard a card to then deal a damage. So, really good solid base. Triggers, we've gone for 7 crits, 4 draws, because we need some advantage. And draws are nice to have. Plus, if we're going to be discarding cards, draws aren't too bad to discard compared to like some fronts. We have obviously gone for Drag Vader as our OT because Drag Vader is amazing. And then just 4 basic heals. Got our Sanctitude, 4 copies of Rising Phoenix, the best card in the deck. And it's got 2 skills. First one being, when it's in your drop, when any card is bound during your turn by your card effect, if you've got a Vanguard with only Narukami, you can Soul Blast 1 and call it to rear guard circle. So our multi-attack enabler. But then we can get it off the field the following turn by going retire, choose one of your opponent's rear guard, choose one of your rear guards and gains not one of your rear guards, sorry, choose one of your units and gets 5000 power. That's what I mean. I did actually give 5000 power to one of the units during the game, so I don't know why I said rear guards at the time. And obviously our remaining 3 perfect guards to go with our Sanctitude. And then we've gone for the set 3 support card of Spark Spike Dragon. This is the card that really does help buff the deck. Because obviously it's 3 skills. First one is, if your Vanguard's only Narukami for its clan, this becomes Narukami, so works with our ride line to search it. Second skill, if your Vanguard is only Narukami for its clan, your other rear guards in the same column gain power plus 5000. But if your Vanguard's attack hit 2 or more times this turn, it's 10,000 to 5,000. So a 10k buff when we're multi-attacking is really solid. But there's more. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If your Vanguard's attack hits 2 or more times this turn, you can Energy Blast 3 to draw a card. So a nice little bit of draw power. Energy is, however, very tight in this deck, as you'll see further down, but it can come up sometimes. Our next card is the set 5 cycle card in the Summit Flare Dragon. So if our G-Zone does not have a card, we get to have the following effects. First one being, act in your hand. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can discard this card and put 2 cards from your soul or drop that were in your ride line back into your ride deck face up. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose a grade 3 or greater card with a different card name from your Vanguard. Reveal it, shuffle it. Reveal it, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you ever didn't reveal a card though, this card then goes back to your hand. And second skill is, when it's put on Guardian Circle, if your opponent's drop has 4 or more cards, shield plus 5000. And then if your opponent has a G-Zone, and they have a card face up in their G-Zone. Oh no, if your opponent's G-Zone has a card, sorry. So they just, as long as they've got a G-Zone basically. Find a grade 3 or greater card from your soul, and this gets an additional 10,000 shield. So obviously with Jet Messiah coming out, we are going to see a lot more of said Tri deck sets again. as well as obviously Shiranui and Lua just got their promos on Japan side, and then Harry and Night Rose are obviously still relatively new out. So the set 6 meta, you start to see quite a few Stride deck sets. So that card becomes really good. But the first skill is good for us because it's an additional way to try and find our original Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion so we can get them into the soul. But we can also grab other good grade 3s like our Eternal Thunderbolt and our backup grade 3 units. So really versatile card. We have gone for 3 copies of the Dragritter Falheart, basic energy cycler. So when discarded, Cat Blast or Energy Blast to draw a card. But when it's placed on the rearguard circle, if you Persona Road, you can Cat Blast or Energy Blast. You choose grade 1 without Sentinel from your drop and call it to back row rearguard circle. So we can actually utilise this to grab our copies of Spike Dragon if they got retired. Or we can bring back Phoenix to retire Phoenix back off to power something else up on the board. So really nice combos. But here, next we've got the first of our shoving our Vermillion into soul cards. So this is our Demonic Dragon Nymph Kashin, whose first skill says she's Narukami as long as your Vanguard's Narukami, same as with Spark Spike. Then the second skill, when placed on the rearguard circle from hand, if you've only got Vanguard Narukami, check top 7, choose one Vermillion that is also a Narukami for its clan, or an Eternal Thunderbolt, put it into your hand. If you put a card into your hand, choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul or discard it. I'm going to come back to that skill in a minute. Third skill, when this unit attacks, if you've got a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Vermillion in its card name, and only Narukami for its clan, Cat Blast 1, this unit gets power plus 10,000 until end of battle, and at the end of the battle will bind this unit. Third skill's really good because obviously it's an enabler for our Rising Phoenixes, so we're not relying on just one card. But we don't actually draw off this one, is my sad issue with it. So you're literally binding it and then get stuck in the bind because it can't bring itself back out of the bind. So I'm not too fond of it, and the second skill, is so restrictive when you look at it compared to the Alka Force one that happens, because that's just for any Alka Force card. So a little bit disappointed, but we still run it because we do need to make sure we do shove at least one Vermillion into our soul. But talking of shoving in soul, let's move on to the better version, and this is Bellicosity Dragon. This is actually a Kagero card, but it's a generic Kagero card. This has got skills of continuous. If you're a Vanguard with only one clan, and your G-Zone has no cards, this gets all of the following. First one being auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can Energy Blast 3 and put a card from hand into your soul to draw 2 cards. And then the second skill is auto. When your Vanguard attacks, this unit gets 5,000 power until end of turn. So second skill's not too important for Vermillion because it's just basically a 5k buff. But the first skill turns one card into 2 cards, which is really good, and gets our Vermillions into our soul to activate the skill. It also does help past the Vermillions, we can shove stuff into our soul to help fund our Rising Phoenixes. So really, really good card. And talking of Vermillions, we have got 3 copies of the basic Vermillion in our deck. Because obviously we do want to get it in. It is literally only here to shove into soul for the OG Vermillion. That's all there is to say about it. The focus, though, however, is the beautiful Eternal Thunderbolt order. So this can be played from the drop, and it can only play if you've got a Vanguard with Vermillion in its card name and only Narukami for its clan. Choose one of your Vanguards until end of the turn. It gets 2 skills. First one being Continuous Vanguard Circle. When your opponent's rearguard is hit by this unit and would be retired from rearguard circle, bind it instead of retiring. And second skill being Continuous Vanguard Circle. If your opponent has no rearguards, all your front row rearguards get power plus 5,000. But then if you also played this order from the drop zone, you don't mind it. So the last little bit makes sense, because otherwise you just keep using it from drop zone, you only ever run one in the deck. But with this we can get up to 4 uses of the order, because we are only playing 2 copies, because I don't want to have too many dead cards in the deck. You can play it from hand, it goes to drop, then bind it from drop to play it the second time on the following turn. The 5k buff to the front row is nice, because it's just more scaling on top of all the scaling we've already got. But binding our opponent's units we hit is really good, because not a lot of decks have a way to get the cards back out of the bind. So, honestly, really good card. And then our final card is the Rugher Hammer Dragon. This has got 2 skills. First one being, when this unit attacks, if you played a normal order this turn, this unit gets power plus 5000 until end of battle. At the end of the battle, you can then counterblast 1 to draw a card and bind this unit. You do not have to counterblast to get the 5000 power. And you can obviously get the 5000 power, choose not to counterblast so you don't bind and draw. Really solid part. But it gets better because it's got an auto bind zone skill. When you play a normal order, if you have a Vanguard with Vermillion in its card name and only Narrak Army for its clan, and you do not have a rearguard with the same name as this card, call this card to rearguard circle. So this recurs itself, which is what makes it better than our Cashin. So it binds itself, brings itself back the following turn to bind itself again, and you can kind of see where the loop's going here. Overall, deck is really fun. The game I have got for you today is honestly a really interesting game, showing off some more of the new cards, because we actually got paired into a copy of the Messiah with the new support from the DBT-06. So we have Transels as well as the Blast Monk. So just wait whilst I get things set up. We are loading replay. That's the name. Speed of 2, so it's a little bit faster. And off we go. So as we can see here, I ask him for coin flip. He gives heads. We get flip a tail, so I get to go first in this. And as you can see from our hand, we've already opened our Vermillion. I haven't bothered to ask at this point whether he's a Stride deck set, so I just keep the cycle in hand anyway, because I want to try and dig for the Rugher. Forced to discard a heal because I haven't got other good discard targets. Opponent, however, gets to go the nuts, has his energy cycler, so draws from the starter, draws from the crest, grade 1, sorry, and then draws from the cycler. Draw checks the order, we hit other blood. Not too much of an issue. We draw into Thunderbolt, which is good. That means we haven't got to search for the other Thunderbolt now. So we're just going to get our 2 in our hands, so we've got our 4 for the rest of the game, because I don't think I'm living past turn 4, especially with how Transels actually plays. So we do swing in a basic 10 to Vanguard, takes it, and we hit one of his counter charges, which is very good for us. He discards the new Lady Battle of the Black Dwarf, which is just another locker with 5k, but also resurrects itself and drop. Just another basic swings with Vanguard, does nothing. I discard the order because I've got no good discard targets. I'm not needing to play an order this turn because he's got no rearguard, so it's not worth it for me. I'm not worried about the pinging. So, Bellicosity, shoving something in Soldier, draw 2 cards, give 5k to the Vanguard, and start swinging. Swing at 18k to Vanguard. Guards, I hit a draw trigger, which is really good. I forgot to give the 5k to the Bellicosity, but we drew into our Rugher, which is really good. We're then swinging 25k from the rearguard, so forcing over those magic numbers, so he either needs a front, or he's forced to go climb 2 cards. Takes it, but it hits a front defensively. That does let me know now you're obviously on fronts, which is obvious with Messiah, because you are drawing so much of these. I've also limited how much he's actually getting to lock this turn, so he's not getting much draw power out of me. So we obviously do see he rides up, gets to call his grade 2 from Soul, from the Stride, and then locks my Bellicosity. And then this is the bit I do find a bit weird, but obviously I didn't know his hand was as bad as it is. He does chuck down 2 of the rest of Messiahs, which do gain 5k on attack, and then get to self-lock themselves. I take the first one, I'm hoping for defensive, hit it, so obviously his rearguards are now not pressurable. He flips up the Transels for the copy of Amnesty, because obviously on attack, counterblast 1, flips something up, unlocks all these things, he gets to do that. I play Sanctitude down, because obviously I don't have to discard for that, because he's a Stride deck set. He then swings with that, I just swing with a draw, and I also chuck down one of my Foul Hearts, counterblast 1 draw, because I don't have much counterblast usage in this deck. so I can actually start to dig for some more pieces. He unlocks, he only gets Soul Blast 1, he only chooses Soul Blast 1 for some reason, but he's more likely pacing himself. So I get to Persona Ride now, play another Bellicossi down, show another Vermillion into Soul, so if I do have to Soul Blast the one Vermillion I've got, I do have a backup. And then we're starting to put our board together. So we've got obviously playing the Phoenix, retiring to give 5k to the Bellicossi. Then we've got our Spark Spike here. And we're at the point of he's got to guard the Vanguard, because he's 28k with a crit. Activate the Vermillion skill, Soul Blasting the Spark Kid Dragoon, I've banned the order from drop, and just swing at his front row. Because I want to remove the arrest of Messiahs off the board. Because I don't want that constant self-locking. I want him to actually have to put the effort in. So he gives me a 2 to pass here. First check's nothing, second check's nothing. I'm an R. I do use the Vermillion the Blood skill. Discarding my Bellicossi. Hindsight later, I should have actually kept the Bellicossi for some draw power, but obviously I didn't know how bad it was going to go. So he obviously, I don't think he's seen the blood skill. So obviously I'm saying ping the damage, and explaining I've pinged the blood is the reasoning, and I've discarded Bellicossi. When the chat catches up to me saying I've discarded Bellicossi, that is. There we are. He then goes, but as you can see from his hand, he's got quite a few PGs. Unfortunately, my ping does hit my heal, so he does get to heal out of it. But I'm still piling on the pressure, swinging in with the rear guard, Cat Blast 1, draw bind. Then the Phoenix gets to go off, Soul Blasting 1, calling a Phoenix. This was risky of me, because I don't believe I actually had a Phoenix in circulation at this point. Once that one got bound, you swing 30, forcing a horrid 10k guard, but forces a 15, and it forces the Sanctitude out of him early because he hasn't got the shield to keep up. And here we do see the stride into the Transel's Messiah. So obviously he's locking that, locking this. He calls down a lot from board. I'm surprised he didn't grab the Balak Door from drop. Well, I'm guessing it's because he hadn't got the counter blast he wanted to justify on it. Because obviously this needs a counter blast as well. He's then also with his lockings. I don't think he really needs to play the order, but I'm guessing he did it more for the attacker than actually doing much. So I guarded 15 there because it's nice and simple. 33 there. I'm like, I'll take it. So he can't heal down past 3. So I don't want him to go into 2 because he can just take the Vanguard at some point. So obviously the Transal's all does all his stuff. Locks my staff. Let's have it on the screen. Attacks, Cat Blast 3. He unlocks all of his board. He then chooses the same number of rear guards as the number of... He then chooses the same number of rear guards as the number of face-up cards in his G-Zone and on my field and locks them. So, and at this point, only 1. And then choose the same number of rear guards as the number of face-up Genesis Transal's Messiahs to give them 5k. But because he's only got 1 at this point, he only gives 1. This now hits 35 because obviously he hit... I think this is a bit weird here because he did forget, which I don't know what happened. I've just realised now in the post-editing, which it doesn't make a difference when you see my hand, he didn't actually guard properly. Or he didn't give the appropriate power because obviously it should have been an extra 10k to the front row. But I'd got the draw trigger in hand, I could have easily chucked down as well. He binds all my rear guards, draws 2. I then top deck a Persona Ride, get to go off, and Phoenix again, calling down, giving the power to Kashin, because obviously I need something to keep going. Then obviously play Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt skill brings back out the Brave 3 Rukar. Everything's set up again, and mass power to the boards. And then Vermillion just goes in, guns blazing, swinging the entire front row. In here, you can see he's getting desperate because he's just digging off the energy cyclers. I was going to put down the crit, but then he realised, oh wait, the front actually gives him a 2 to pass for easiness sake. I hit a grade 3 and a Phoenix. And then Bludge will ping him a damage again. Because he's still not at 5, and I can now force it. If he doesn't hit defensive, I'm hitting some really big numbers, and with how he's guarding, I know he hasn't really got enough. This is 43 here, which is a really horrid number. Forcing out those. And then Counterblast, draw a bind, but then she activates the Phoenix. Soul Blast one, bring it out for another attacker. Swinging for that. 30, he doesn't have the shield for that. And then I swing in with the Phoenix for gain. So as you can see, there's a lot of really good pressure in Vermillion. It does rely a lot on making sure you hit your magic numbers, getting the right power gains, and the pinging damage does not actually hurt you. Because I will say, in one of my games prior to this recording, I did ping my opponent the over trigger. Which was just like, oh. But what can you do about that? That is going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. It very much does help the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.